Oh, all right. Are we ready to get this partay started? You guys thought I forgot. You thought I forgot, didn't you? What is this, episode 4? I even brought, you know how much I didn't forget? I even brought a drink. This is water, but it's pink because it's strawberry watermelon flavored. If you guys know who Zwayback is, FIFA YouTuber, the only FIFA YouTuber I genuinely watch anymore. He has he does these spray thingies into his drinks, and I had always seen those commercials. They're like called Mios or something, and I always thought, well, it's weird because I would see the commercials, but then I wouldn't think twice about it. I would just think, oh, it's a commercial, but I never really thought about the product itself. And then after seeing him use them, I was like, actually, you know what? Water is kind of boring. You heard it here first, guys. Water is boring. So then I went out to the store, and I didn't buy the Mio because they're expensive. I think they're like $4. So I brought the the Herr Steeder, which is the local supermarket, their own brand, and it tastes really good. So this is strawberry watermelon. I'm going to take a drink right now. That's good. That's good. The funny thing about this was the first one I bought, though, I don't know if it was the Herr Steeder brand or it was some brand, off-brand. And I was drinking it a lot because it tasted really good. But then I got a terrible headache. And this was like over a year ago. And I was drinking them, I think, on live stream while I was playing the Weekend League. And I remember thinking, oh, this is sweet. It tastes good. I'm not having voice cracks. I feel energized. And then, so that live stream went like 5 hours or something, I'm pretty sure. And then at like 10 o'clock, I was just kind of sitting there, lying in my bed, like on the computer or something. And I was thinking, wow, my head really hurts. My head hurts real bad. So then, I don't know why, but then I suddenly realized, oh no, there's probably caffeine in this. And then I looked at the bottle. I think it was because I remember it said like energize on it. But it didn't occur to me that meant like it'll energize you via caffeine. So then I went to the bottle, I looked at it, and I had probably had like 8 things of this. And that was, I don't know how many milligrams of caffeine that was. But I probably drank like 3 or 4 cups of coffee, the equivalent of that. And I don't drink any caffeine normally. So so I had that, and I couldn't fall asleep until like 1 o'clock or something. But that was the funny story about that. It wasn't very funny, but I hope you did enjoy it. That killed about 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes of this 40 to 45 minute podcast. If you are new around here, which I highly doubt it, because no one's going to find this. But I do appreciate the people who do come back. I have a lot of fun doing these podcasts. And I'm in a weird place in terms of YouTube where I don't find as much fun doing things that get me a lot of views, but then things that don't get me a lot of views I really like to do. I will give you an example. With the player reviews, if I do a player review, like easy 5,000 views. And 5,000 views for bigger YouTubers doesn't seem like a lot. For me, that's a lot. I always like to put it in terms of money, even though it doesn't matter. But that's like $5. So that's pretty good. Whereas this video, 45 minutes, uncut, there are no ads on it. But in terms of fun value, it's like a 9 out of 10. Whereas a player review can range anywhere between like 5 and 7.5, maybe 5 and 8. Even the Kevin Folon video, I thought that was going to do really well because I've noticed that whenever you review a player who's free, Kevin Folon is free, and whenever they're a striker, Kevin Folon's a striker, that's like it's gonna do well. And I was expecting like really big numbers. I think the most views I've ever gotten was Yaya Toure and Birthday Rooney, which was like 41,000 views. And that was actually like $70, which that's a lot. If I could make that every day, I would just do YouTube, and that'd be cool. But I mean, that doesn't happen. But anyway, I just like doing other things because for me, when I would play video games when I was younger, like 8 to 12, I would play a lot of college football. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but what I would love to do is I would take a really bad school. Like, I remember I was using San Jose State, which if you don't know anything about college football, that doesn't mean anything to you. But San Jose State doesn't have a good football team. They're like really bad. It's the equivalent of taking a team in Football League 2 and then building them up and going to the Champions League and winning that. That's what I would do. But it was cooler because it was more about a journey for the coach themselves. So you would create the coach, and then I'd start at a school like San Jose State. You could even start as like an offensive or defensive coordinator. So you're not even the main head coach. You're just an assistant. And then I was pretty good at the game, just playing against a computer though. But I would do really well, and then I would get to a bowl game, and I'd have like a 11-1 record, and I would beat some good teams, and then that would cause interest for other schools, or it would be like I would get more recruits because my team was better rated, and then I would have the option of staying and building like a dynasty around a small school program, which I did sometimes. Or then other times it was about my journey from being like a small school coach, then I would move to a mid-major coach, then I would move to a powerhouse coach. And I would do that in like college basketball, in Madden. Well, not too much in Madden, but I would try to do it in pretty much every game. In NBA 2K, that was like the first journey mode game. I would build like an undersized point guard who was like 5'10", and then I was undrafted, and I had to play in the G League. It was actually called the D League back then, but like the developmental league. And then I became an all-star. And what I'm trying to get at is the most interesting thing for me is like building a story. I was mentioning this in a comment to Sound Theory. I don't know if he watches these, but the most important thing for me is building a story, because that's what I think is really captivating, and that's what's interesting. So with Buy or Nah, there's not really a story. It's just a one-off player review, and they do really well, and people like them, but it's just because people will see the title and they click on it. It's not an actual, like, the content itself, in my opinion, does equate to like the content that Bronze to Glory had. If I were a viewer, I would not watch Buy or Nah. It just doesn't interest me. But if I were a viewer, I would watch something like Bronze to Glory, because that's cool. Like the idea of taking a bronze team and then making them good enough to reach Division 1, that still kind of blows my mind that I was able to do that. And I wish that I hadn't become so almost toxic at the end, I guess, because I was getting really frustrated that I wasn't winning. For FIFA 18, you can't really do Bronze to Glory just because the skill gap between players has become so big. So that's why I didn't really do it for FIFA 18. But for FIFA 17, FIFA 16, that was really fun. And I wish that they had done better in terms of views. I wish I had started maybe FIFA 13 or 14, because I think that would have been really cool back then, when every player was kind of equal. I mean, obviously, like, a 90 rated player is going to be better than some 64 rated bronze, but it wasn't as much of a difference as it is today. So I want to do a story mode for FIFA. People always would do like the career mode stuff, which I think is cool, but for me, it's just been done before, and I'd rather do something different. So this is why I'm pretty excited about this World Cup mode, which should drop tomorrow. And so my plan is to have a FIFA series based around it, and I think I'm gonna do like a pack kind of thing, where if I win I get a pack, or if a certain player scores I get a pack, because I don't want to just do it as I have like 500,000 coins, I think. If I sell everything, I don't want to just open a ton of packs and then just use that, because that's boring. But if you guys have any suggestions as to how to do this, I'm thinking maybe I open a pack every time I win, or maybe the goal differential's a pack. It could be something like that. I don't know if it's going to be a road to Division 1, because I don't know how they're going to format how EA is gonna format it, where it's like maybe just Division 10 through Division 1, maybe a weekend league. That would be cool. But what I'm trying to say is I'm really excited about this because I think it's gonna bring back a story feature for me, and I don't think the videos will actually do as much as the buy or not, because I just don't think people are gonna find it as much. But that's not really my main concern. My main concern is just trying to have more fun with doing YouTube, and part of that also has to do with the buy or not. It almost became like a job instead of like a creative endeavor or something for fun, because it got to the point where, or it's at the point where I can crack out a buy or not without really thinking. Like, I just know what I have to do, the formula, and I just copy the formula, follow it. And it became kind of a meme in my head, because I know, like, I'll start out a video with something stupid like, "Hi, it's your dad," and then I insert the intro, and then I say, "Hi guys, welcome, today we're reviewing blah blah blah." Then we go through his stats, and then I do the thing where I mention to like the video, and I mention murder, and people like the video, and then I crack into the first, second, and third games, and then I do a recap at the end, and then I know how to cut and how to edit it. It still takes a really long time. It'll take like 3 to 4 hours to do everything, which is slightly annoying. But that's like, it's not a challenge to make a creative video. I mean, it's not a challenge to make a buy or nah video. It's not a creative video. Whereas it's not like the Bronze to Glory was more difficult. If anything, the Bronze to Glory was easier because I was even lazier with my editing. But getting back to the story aspect was what made it, it's kind of like the foundation for why the video actually meant something to me, and why I really like those videos. I like Division 1 Road to Glory stuff. My favorite of all time was probably Wheel of Fortune, maybe, I don't know. That's crazy to think about. 4 years ago was when I was watching a ton of FIFA stuff. Like, that seems like it was yesterday. And I remember the World Cup, and I remember James scored a penalty, and then he had a giant grasshopper on his shoulder. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Can we get our producer to Ernesto? Can you put that on the screen? No. Oh, you're drunk? Okay. Or is his name Eduardo? I don't know where he is. He's right here. Nice. We got a special guest, Eduardo the gnome. I thought his name was Lucifer. I don't know. We've had too many characters on this show. We're 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in. Okay. People always make fun of my shirt. I don't like, this is just a plain white t-shirt. I don't get why people make fun of my shirts. I think that's become the strangest meme of all, that LT has bad shirts. I mean, I have shirts that have like cats on them, and I have shirts that I have a shirt with a giraffe. I haven't actually seen that in a while. For the most part though, I've just been wearing white t-shirts, and it's comfortable, it's cotton, it's cheap. My mommy buys them for me. I don't know why you guys hate on me. You guys see my haircut? I gave this to myself because I don't like... I had a math teacher who, he would get really long, like scraggly hair. He looked pretty much like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And I didn't like him because I thought he was a bad teacher. But the one thing I would agree with him on, he said that going to the barber is really weird because you don't know what to say to them. And I always thought, I never liked going to the barber either because I didn't know what to I just was like, cut my hair. I don't know. You do it. Cut it. Like, figure it out. You're the barber. But then they're always like, so do you want off the sides and what inches? Like 1 inch, 2 inches, guard 3? And I'm like, what are you saying? I don't know what these words mean. But, oh, why did I think? Okay. So he's like, I don't like going to the barber because I don't know what to tell him. It's like when you go to the dentist. I kind of just open my mouth and the dentist does his thing. Whereas it's not like the dentist is like, all right, so what do you want done today? And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So I just cut my own hair, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So I just like shave the sides, and then I don't touch the top, which is funny because this has become like a hairstyle if this was like 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, this wouldn't be a hairstyle. People would just think I'm weird. But it turns out I'm just giving myself the Paula Dybala haircut, and I've been doing that for like 4 years. It was 4 years ago, almost to the day. Wow, wait, almost to the day I think. That I gave myself my first haircut. And I remember it was right after I had finished high school classes. I still had to do I still had to take some tests and stuff. But I went to a Target with my sister and we bought this hair cutting kit for like $18. And then I just been cutting my hair ever since. I've bought like 3 different kits. They've all been the same because I don't take care of my blades and they get really rusty. But yeah, that's crazy to think how much has changed in 4 years. 4 years ago, I had never even uploaded a YouTube video. And now I'm sitting here in front of 10 people I'm doing a podcast. Could you I'm trying to do a podcast. Okay. Stop. Shh. Okay. We're having a slight interruption as okay, just lift it. My brother's gonna lift some weights in the background. In case anything bad happens, I'm gonna have to run over there. He's currently bench pressing about 155. I mean, 155 is pretty decent. He's done 2 reps. Oh, okay, he just did 2 reps. 155.
I only do it twice a day.
He does it twice.
The Fun 5.
So the what we're talking about is called Fun Fives, which is a weightlifting technique that we learned.
I learned it.
Okay, can you stop yelling? I'm trying. Okay. So the Fun Fives would be you just put on a certain amount of weight that you can bench 5 times. One set of 5 reps. So let's say you do 135. You do the 5. You have to have good form, controlled. You do that, then you go up by 5 pounds. So 2.5 pounds on each side. So after 135, you go to 140. Then you do those 5 times, and say you're only capable of doing it 3 times. Then you just wait the next day. Then you do it, and you just keep repeating it until you're able to do that 5. Then you add another 5 pounds. And that seems like it's. If you're a weightlifter coach, you'd probably be like, "That's stupid. That's not going to work." And it doesn't work for building long-term, long-lasting muscle. But if you're just trying to get raw power, I think it works really well. So I was able to, when I came back from college, I wasn't bench pressing during the 3 years of college, and so I got down to like 135. I could barely do 135, and I had been doing around probably close to 200 my senior year of high school. So then over the course of like 2 months, I got all the way back up to like 185 from 135, and I haven't done it in a while just because I'm not a huge bench pressing fan. Can you leave?
How many people?
I'm recording. Yeah, they all don't like you.
How many people? 10?
At least 30.
Wow.
How many people are going to watch this? If you're watching this, please comment down below.
Live?
No. I'm going to record it. I'm recording it as we speak now. Just leave the room. Okay. That was a special guest appearance. That's actually the second guest we've had today. I had my manager, also known as my mother. She birthed him specifically to be on this. Eduardo is not my brother, though. Eduardo's just he's like the devil who happens to be here. But yeah, what do you guys think about bench pressing? What do you guys think about weightlifting? I thought, because I played baseball in high school, and they put a huge emphasis on like lifting really heavy weights. And I don't really get it because, well, I do get it because in baseball, it's not so much like a running sport. It's just kind of like be a huge guy and hit the ball really far. But I don't think that you need to just have raw power, like raw strength to hit the ball. I think it's more about like fluidity with your bat. And I don't know. I don't get why coaches always put a huge emphasis on being like really strong. Unless you're playing like rugby or football, American football, it doesn't matter. Like with soccer, with football, it doesn't matter because you're running so much. You don't need to have a bunch of huge muscles. No one needs to be Troy Deeney. It's better to be Sadio Mane, you know? You got to be lean. But I always thought the same could be said with baseball. You don't need to be a giant guy to hit the ball really far. And if you're going to become really big, then it'll just limit your mobility in terms of playing defense and being agile in the field. So, I don't know. I just never understood that. I always thought there was other stuff you could be doing. What I've been doing for exercise, because I'm lazy, is when I didn't have a job in like January. Actually, no. I was when I was a waiter in the fall, I really got interested in boxing, which was kind of weird because it might have happened because of the JJ Joe Weller fight, which this was September, so it hadn't happened yet, but I had seen like one thing about it. And then I was like, you know what, boxing, actually, I've always wanted to do that. It's good exercise. I don't actually want to box other people because I'm afraid of getting hit in the head. But Manny Pacquiao he's Filipino. I'm half Filipino, so I'm like, you know what, it's in the blood. It's not really. But so then I bought one of these $20 punching bags, like a heavy bag, and I just filled it with old clothing, and I hung it up on my basketball goal, and I bought boxing gloves, and I bought hand wrap, because I always thought it was so cool to use hand wrap, and it is really cool, but it takes forever. So if you're actually going to become a boxing guy, hey, you want to be a boxing guy? You want to be a boxing guy? I would not recommend buying hand wrap. You can get these little sleeves that you put on, and it's like you just slide it on. You don't have to wrap all your stuff. So that'd be cool. I should probably actually buy those. So then I was doing jump rope as well, and I got pretty good. Like, you get good cardio from doing jump rope and then just boxing, but then I have a tendency to stop doing things because I'm lazy. Over time, I just I'll drop something, which is a really bad habit of mine. So I did the same thing with boxing, but then I reached a point where I was kind of just flatlining in terms of my development, in terms of getting in shape, because I don't like pushing myself into when it comes to exercise, which is really bad because pushing yourself in exercise is the main thing. But in my head, I'm always like, well, if I push myself today, then that just means I have to push myself again tomorrow. And it's like a never-ending cycle of trying to get better, which is good. But then at the same time, it's like you're just pouring water into a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. It doesn't make sense, which is it's a terrible way to think about things, but that's just how my mind works. So then I bought a power tower, which is you do pull-ups and you do dips and you can do push-ups and leg raises where you put your back against the thing and then you raise your legs up. So that I like that. It's a quick workout. I don't spend more than 10 minutes, and I do feel it all over my body. And I've been getting better at pull-ups. I was struggling to do 5. I couldn't do 5 pull-ups, but now I'm up to 15 or something. And I'm not talking about you go like that, your arms are like that pull-ups. I'm talking about straight arms and then go down. It's not about the numbers, guys. It's about the numbers. Mainly it's about the numbers, but it's about getting swole. Today, this is going to be summer 28, 2K18 swoleness. Swole summer. You guys can tell that I'm recording this podcast in the afternoon, right? Because I've got more energy. What time is it actually? Where's my mouse? Oh, why is the thingy not... Come on. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. It is a Monday. You might be wondering why I'm not at work. It's because it is Memorial Day. And if you're unsure what Memorial Day is, so are many Americans. But it's basically a day where you thank soldiers who fought in wars or were on Army Reserve, anything like that. And it's a day for them. And people go to cemeteries to visit soldiers' graves. And it's a good holiday. Today it's kind of raining out. I was planning on recording a music video with my friend. Because I recorded a new song. I actually it's crazy how quickly things can happen. This song, I had nothing written on Friday, and I came home from work, and then I was just kind of playing around on my piano, and I found this little groove that I liked. And it always, the way the way a song always happens for me in creating it is, I'll hear a song that I really like. Oh no, the voice crack happened, guys. I need to drink more of my pink water. Please ignore that voice crack. That was Eduardo. That I usually have at least 3 of those per episode. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by my vocal cords. I didn't have anything on Friday, but then I had been listening to this song New Light by John Mayer, his new song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's groovy. It's really groovy. He has a really hilarious music video to accompany it as well. So then I'll hear a song and I'm like, yeah, I like that style. And I'm not going to copy the chord progression or even the keys. I don't know if I'm actually in the same key. But I kind of record the feeling that I get, if that makes any sense. And so I played this groovy thing on the piano, and I'm like, you know what, that's pretty good. And so I put that into Logic, and I just kind of tracked it out. And then I sat down. I'm pretty sure this is actually the same day. It was on Friday night. And I sat down, and I just recorded some lyrics. And when I was first writing song lyrics, or like first making music, I would like plan it out really meticulously, because I thought that it had to be planned out and almost like homework, you know? That's just the way that I had been thinking was in terms of school, and I would think of, you got to plan it out and write it out, and then that's the only way things will work. Whereas now, and that can work for people, but then with this one, which I think personally is like one of the best songs I've ever written, and I think people would actually enjoy listening to it, I just sat down and I just said words. I didn't even write anything down. I just said words, and I'm like, you know what? If it makes sense, it makes sense. To be honest, the words don't really make that much sense. It's kind of one of those pop songs where it's not really a pop song, but it's one of the things where the lyrics don't matter so much. It's more just trying to feel groovy. That sounds so nerdy to say out loud. You know, man, it's not so much about the words, man. It's just about feeling groovy. But it's true. I didn't care about what the words said. I just wanted to feel groovy. And then I recorded some guitar. I think this was also on Saturday. I worked on it. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I don't know, but I basically did everything in less than like 3 hours in terms of recording the vocals and the song and like writing the song, and it came together really quickly. And then my mic, so the mic I use is this one. This is definitely a good mic, but it's not anywhere near the quality that my friend has. Like he has like a $5,000 studio basically in his apartment, and it's really crazy. And I don't like it. Just kind of randomly happened, and I think it's really cool. So then I went to his house yesterday, his apartment, and I recorded the vocals, and then I wanted to record a music video, but then he was a little bit busy that afternoon yesterday, so we are planning on doing it today, because we both have a free day because it's a vacation day in the U.S., but it's just absolutely pouring and just terrible weather outside. It's raining and it's sad and it's windy, and I don't want to go out there. And he also has 2 really nice cameras, which are better than this camera. I like this camera, but you know what? There are better ones out there. So anyway, I'm gonna probably post that I might actually post it on my main channel on Long Transaction. Just because whenever I do something that takes a really long time, like more than a couple of days, I always feel a little bit disappointed or like unmotivated to do it again if I post it on Extra Long Transaction or Long Transaction Vivo, just because I know I'm not going to get as many views. Like I might get 50 views, and then I'm thinking to myself, I could just post it on the other one and it'll get like 5 times as many views. I know that I told people I'm not going to post anything other than FIFA on that channel, but why should I limit myself? It's not like people have to pay for each channel, and they're like, "Why? I am not subscribed to this channel, mate, to listen to your little posh music. Yeah, I've subscribed because I like the FIFA content. Which some people might react like that, but I don't get it. If you don't, I can understand certainly why people wouldn't watch a video if they're not interested in it, but then in that case, I just don't click on it. Like, I'm subscribed to a ton of channels, and I don't really watch so many videos. I just don't. But what'll happen? I still support the content creator because I like what they're doing. But then maybe I'm just not interested in watching that video for the day, so I just won't click on it. But then people, for some reason, people are like, "This is not the content I want, mate. I didn't sign up for this. I am astounded that you've just decided to put this up there. I don't know what this accent is either. It's becoming a little bit more British, yeah. It was first a little bit Scottish. Oh, you know what's weird? I don't know if you guys heard about this, but #United, Spencer FC, his channel, they're actually going to be semi-professional, like League 9 or something in the United Kingdom, which is 5 divisions from professional football. But that 5 divisions is 5 years, theoretically. That's really crazy to think about. Like, I don't know how good the teams are going to be in that, but how did that happen? I remember when he first mentioned it, I thought it would be kind of like I had seen other Sunday League teams where it's like you kind of just film it from the side and you can't really tell what's going on. And it's pretty amateur, but people still like it because they like the characters. And I mean, I never really got into that too much, but I know I can see why people would be interested in it. And then when he announced that he was going to create a team with his friends and he would do the same thing, I thought, okay, I mean, he's kind of just copying everyone else, but that's cool. I'll still watch it. And then I saw the quality of like the first video, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I haven't followed it as much recently, but I followed it pretty closely. And to see the growth that they've made and like signing really good players, that's really cool. I think I really like Spencer Owen. I don't know why people hate him so much, just because he tries to do things that are outside of the box. But people just are like, hey, he's a YouTuber. He can only do this. Oh, he's such a nonce. Why is that a thing to just call him a pedophile? That's such a weird thing to do. He doesn't even look like a pedophile. Maybe when he has the mustache. I don't know. But there's a trap in my opinion, because he has people around him who are working toward the same goal, where it's almost like it's become like a business. It is a business for him. And that's not to put him down or anything, because I think what he's doing is really cool and really good, and he's helping advance YouTube in terms of content. But then at the same time, I feel like I get trapped because I think, wow, he's able to do such really good content. I need to kind of emulate this if I want to have a chance at growing my channel, which is kind of true to a certain extent. It's good to have better content, but then at the same time, I need to understand that this is just a hobby, basically. I do get money, but not very much. I do have really cool supporters and fans like you guys, and I do appreciate you, but I have to understand that it's not I can't put 24 hours a day into this like it's my own business, because I have a job and I have other stuff to worry about and I have to have my own free time, and it doesn't make sense for me to treat it like a business when it really isn't. So the trap that I get in is I see this content, especially on YouTube nowadays, which is like really good quality content. The production value is there, the editing is there, the ideas there, the budget, they have like a budget almost. And it's kind of like if I were a movie maker in the 1980s, or even, doesn't even have, in the early 2000s, the 1990s, and I was a amateur movie maker, and then I saw like The Matrix, and I'm like, oh, that is so cool, I have to recreate that. It wouldn't work at all, because I don't have the budget, I don't have actors, I can't do anything similar to that in terms of production value. So I'm just shooting at a target that's way too high sometimes, and it's discouraging for me, in my opinion, because I'll think, well, I'm never going to be as good as them. There's no place for me on the platform. and this is where I think YouTube as a company could do a better job of helping people who don't really have a huge production value, because I don't want a helping hand, and I don't want them to promote bad content, but I also don't like how they only promote high production content that's like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. Because hello? No, I'm recording. This is the second time. That's the third guest we've had. I'm talking about production value and how we don't have actors and actresses. I've had 3 guests on my show today, and I just want to say that's incredible. But yeah, I wish YouTube would push content that didn't have Jimmy Kimmel in the title, or like The Late Show with Dan Rather. I think there's still a lot of content that is simple. Primitive technology that is almost as simple as it gets. A guy, a camera, doesn't even say a word. Doesn't use any new technology. He makes his own stuff, and he has millions of subscribers. He deserves to be trending every time he posts a video. He might be, actually, I don't know. He deserves to be like one of the featured creators, because what he does is so good. It doesn't matter about production value. It just matters about what you're creating, and what he creates is really good. We're nearing the end of this podcast, guys. I really do enjoy doing these, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to them. I know I don't get as many comments on these, probably because people turn them off after a while, because there's only so much of me that you can listen to. But maybe you listen to it on a commute. Maybe I should put this on Spotify. I wonder if I could. I have a Spotify thing, and I've only been putting my songs. I wonder if I could put these podcasts, because I've been listening to a ton of podcasts recently just because I have to commute 45 minutes each way every day. And so I used to be listening to music, but then that gets a little bit bland after a while. So then I decided to put on podcasts, and I really like listening to them. They're interesting, and they just kind of make the time vanish. So maybe I'll put these on Spotify. Someone also, in a live stream, I mentioned how I wanted to have a cereal. I wanted to taste your cereal. Guys, I really want to taste your cereal. I wanted to make a P.O. box so you could send me cereal. This was an idea I had like 2 years ago. But then P.O. boxes are really expensive. But now I can afford them probably. So if you guys are interested in me opening a P.O. box, so then you can send me like snacks from your country. Because that's the really cool thing about this channel. I have a ton of people from all across the world who watch these videos. And I really would be interested in trying like your snacks. And I would also be interested in sending other people snacks so they could try American stuff. But I wouldn't mind spending, it's like $35 a month, I think, for a P.O. box, which is kind of expensive. I don't really spend that much money as it is. And I would definitely it would not be a bother to do that. I'm just kind of concerned that I open it and then like one person sends something like the first month and then I never get anything ever again. And then I'd be kind of like, this is a waste of money and I could have been spending it other places. But if you guys are actually intrigued about that, the other caveat is it probably is really expensive for you guys to send stuff to me because it's worldwide shipping. And so I don't really want to make you guys spend like $15 just to ship something to me. Because I know $15, if you're younger, $15 could actually be a huge thing. So I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 about the idea. I think it's cool, but at the same time, I don't want to put you guys in a position where you feel obligated to send me stuff and then it ends up taking like your month's allowance. Because that's not cool. But yeah, let me know about that. I'm also... what was I going to say? Oh, no, I forgot. I don't know. I think this has been a good podcast. I didn't talk about stuff that I've talked about previously, which I have a tendency to do. I did kind of speak a little bit quickly, but to be honest, I really have to use the bathroom. I don't know why I'm trying to get to 40 minutes, but I feel obligated to get to exactly 40 minutes. And so we have about 25 seconds of me trying to hold my bowels. So if you'll just allow me to sit here with you in silence, maybe I'll say a couple of words as we endure these last 10 seconds of the podcast. I really need to use the bathroom. And what can I say? It was a really frosty episode. All right, guys. We've hit 40 minutes. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to spare pets.